So for me, your storyline this year is like fucking primo Crimsix period, right? Like you sort of get you get dropped.
Yeah.
And then you have this year where you fucking lead your team, you and your team lead each other, I guess, or whatever, to a championship. But let's talk about the beginning and how this all went to be, right? Because I have a fucking massive history of always keeping everybody that was on my team and been on my team close to me as much as I can forever, because I understand the power of being together after being together for so long.
Yeah.
So when this whole thing went down, the same thing happened with you that happened with Seth and Nate Shot when Seth went to Envy. Yeah. Right? I had somebody that wanted to leave me, who obviously was still my friend, and then I had Nate Shot who wanted to stay, and I was supposed to pick between the guy that wanted to stay and be an optic, or the guy that was good and wanted to fucking leave. Yeah. And I'm like my loyalty is going to be with those who want to stay, not the ones who want to leave. Yeah. And the same thing happened with you, where you wanted to stay, I wanted you to stay, but then you had two dudes that ended up not even staying with the fucking team, that made a lot of the decisions that said, fuck it, we're going to go. Yeah. And then you have, obviously you have your own opinions of Seth in that whole scenario, and you can talk about that if you want.
Well, I just think both of us are put in pretty hard positions. The moment, like, it's funny that, like, Seth boasts about, texting formal right after we lost. And it's funny that he, like, brags about it, because I was sitting there thinking, like, well, then why didn't you, like, let me know 2 months earlier? Yeah. Like, what the situation with Clay was completely different, but we literally, like, Stro was like, dude, we got to tell him today. We got to let him know now. You know what I mean? And I mean, at the end of the day, like, I still talk with Clay. Yeah. And we got some cool stuff getting lined up. But it sucks. But the whole thing that it's weird to me, it's like, dude, you waited 2 months, or I don't know if it was 2 months. Well, it was like a month.
I'm not gonna defend Seth at all in this. I wanted to make sure that in this conversation I didn't defend him or anything. So a lot of the shit that he said was sort of like in rebuttal to the shit that you were saying. You know what I mean? So because look,
I mean, he obviously he doesn't want to look like the bad. No one wants to look like the bad guy in that situation. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I think that just like a phone call, 100%, or something like that from him, been like, basically saying, yo, I don't really want to play with you. That to me, I would have been like, yo, that sucks. Yeah. But I would have got off the phone and I would have started, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. I would have started getting things going rather than, because it was literally on my fiance's birthday. Yeah. That you called me. And I mean, and I'm just trying to think, like it was late. It was super delayed. It was on my fiance's birthday, which literally, by the way, ruined her birthday that year. So that's another reason why I was pissed off about it. But yeah, I mean, and
nobody told Dana to be born on that fucking day.
No one told her that. But you know what's funny is everyone talks about Black Ops 4 champs and all this stuff. And I don't think I've ever said this, but you remember, like, I was sick that day on Sunday. Yeah. And leading up to Sunday, I've played incredible. And I don't know what I ate, but I've played like sick a lot. Like, you know that. Yes. At the final versus you guys, I was literally coughing up blood before we played you guys. And I've played under so many different conditions, but like stomach stuff is completely different. Yeah. Like, because when you feel like you're gonna throw up, you start cold sweating, you start like feeling, or you feel really hot.
Cold chills. Yeah.
And it's like what happened with the 100T when
Preston.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Yes.
Prisa.
Yeah. So it was like I was feeling so bad that if we had a sub, I literally would have subbed myself out, and I would have said, if you win, you take the prize money. Yeah. And I was like, literally, it was that bad. But no one wants to talk about that. No one, people just want to talk about KDs and stuff. But like, knowing me, like, that takes a lot to say. That I would have been like, yo, I feel fucking terrible. Yeah. I do not think I can play well today. Like, sub me out. And that's like if we would have had that option, I probably would have taken that, because that's how bad I felt on that Sunday. Like, and it was so weird to me. like what happened, because I was just thinking like, dude, not today, not today, not today. And I barely ever throw up or feel sick in that regard. Like I used to have what's it called? Acid reflux?
Yeah.
Gastric reflux?
Yeah. No, it's acid reflux.
Yeah, there's two different types.
Heartburn.
Well, it's
right? It causes heartburn.
Well, that's one of I never had heartburn, but I more have had like your stomach acid's too strong, and it comes up in your throat and literally burns your esophagus.
Yeah.
So I've never had like stomach problems at all. So that's why I was sitting there like, dude, did Clay just food poison me or something like that? Because we were playing him the next day.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck?
Had you eaten with him? Had you got?
Well, you know what's weird is I ate the same meals, same stuff, same breakfast.
Yeah.
Same. I wonder if it could have been the dinner, but either way, point is that you can play sick, but when you feel like you're gonna literally puke, like it's different.
Yeah.
But that day, I played bad. You know what I mean? No, well,
during Black Ops 4 you're talking about.
Yeah, during Black Ops. I think everyone played bad except for Seth. And I mean, that was like but it's funny that all the blame is like pinned on me for that shit, because it's like, dude, I legitimately, like, people looked at me and were like, dude, you're pale. Like, are you good? And I was like, no. I said yes, but I did not feel good that day. That day was terrible. But stomach stuff is completely different, dude.
Yeah, 100%.
Completely different.
Yeah, you can have a fever and you can still, you know, it's better, obviously, right, for dexterity. But it is those situations where you're doing the above and beyond shit, right? Like you're doing the study and you're doing this thing, like all that shit, all the play calling and all that, like that doesn't get heard by the fans. Therefore, it doesn't take into account that, you know, that's a set, you know, like if you say I'm gonna peak middle, and if you die and you put your team at a deficit of 1, but you're able to give them all of the information in the world so they can win the round, that never gets taken into account. All people say is like, oh, this motherfucker got first blooded again. Yeah,
like the whole.
I have the Pristini last, like the fucking round 11 in my head in that scenario.
Yeah, it's it's funny. Looking back, I remember I messaged Brandon about this. Last year, when everyone's, you know, roasting me about can't gun Octane. Yeah. Can't gun Slasher, right? I'm sitting here like thinking, dude, those are two of the best ICRs in the game. Yeah. Arguably but they're on the same team. Mm-hmm. Our team doesn't even have a second ICR. And I'm sitting here thinking like the comms, what I was saying was, yo, I need a second ICR. Like, someone please help me out and do it. The comms should have been, like, even from my standpoint, should have been, yo, let's pull out 3 ICRs. Mm-hmm. Like, outnumber them. Yeah. Because the other players aren't so much of a threat as those two are. And but back then the problem on the team was, even if I did say that, it would be no, how about you just shoot straighter? How about you suck less?
What team was that?
The Black Ops 4 team.
Dashy, TJ. Those are 5.
Yeah. That's what the comms would have been. Or even if I said that, it would have been, no, just don't get gunned.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here like, dude, how am I supposed to 1v2 players who are like incredible at their role?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And to me, it was just mind-blowing, because this year was the complete opposite. I actually had to tell so Shotzi is like the most literal person ever. Okay. Like if you say something to him,
he takes it.
If I say never do that again or never do this play again, he will literally never do it again. I remember he was in some situation and I said, yo, why didn't you do this? And he's like, well, 3 months ago you told me never do that.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting there like, wow, I
remember.
I remember. It was more of like, wow, I'm amazed, because usually when I've been saying the words like never do something, I mean it like in 95% of the time, like don't do that play.
Yeah.
But in the other 5% of the time, you might be so desperate that you absolutely have to make that, like do that, you know, meathead play. And that was that situation where like Ant he was in that 5% of the time, do this play. And he literally remembered something like 3 months ago. And that's how crazy that our trust in each other was.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
Because I've never even dealt with someone who listened to me or took in information and remembered it and like daily remembered it.
Yeah.
On that level. It's crazy to me.
Fraud.